Have you ever felt like your mind is always running, but almost never in the right direction? As if the weight of expectations, frustrations, and even the people around you were pulling you down. Sometimes it feels like we spend our lives reacting to the world instead of truly living, and that wears down your soul. What if I told you there's a Japanese philosophy that can reorganize not just your thoughts, but the way you see yourself and your relationships? It's not complicated therapy. It's not a technique full of impossible steps. It's simple, quiet, and deeply freeing. It's a way of looking at your own life with more honesty, gratitude, and clarity. Naikan is a Japanese philosophy that basically invites you to look at your own life with more honesty. No complicated concepts, no difficult words. Naikan is a straightforward way to see what you receive from others, what you offer to others, and the pain you also cause. It's a practice of introspection, but it's not about drifting through random thoughts. It's a focused look with clear questions that put you face to face with the way you relate to the world. Naikan was born in Japan in a spiritual context, but what matters to you today is the practical result. It helps you remove the exaggerations in the way you see yourself and others. Because in reality, many people see themselves in two extreme ways. Either they see themselves as someone who's always guilty, always wrong, never enough, or as someone who does everything for everyone, is always treated unfairly, and is always the right one in every story. Naikan breaks these two extremes. It shows you that you receive far more support, care, and help than you usually notice. You do less than you think you do in some cases. And you have a bigger impact on people's lives than you imagine, both for good and for harm. In practice, Naikan is this: sit down, think about a specific person, and answer questions about that relationship. It sounds too simple, but it's not shallow. Because when you answer honestly, without trying to defend yourself at every moment, you start seeing things that were obvious but invisible. You realize, for example, that the meal you always had didn't appear on its own. That message saying, "Did you get home okay?" isn't a meaningless detail. That emotional support you received on a bad day was a real gift. And that silence you kept when you needed to speak, it hurt someone too. Naikan isn't meant to drown you in guilt. It's meant to place you in a more truthful position, not above others, not below them, but on the same level. From here, it makes a lot of sense to connect this with something that might already be part of your life: Japanese minimalism. Because Naikan is, in a way, the internal version of what you already seek on the outside. If Japanese minimalism attracts you, it's not just because of the aesthetics, it's because of the feeling of relief. You look at a clean space with few objects, everything in its place, and you feel like you can finally breathe. Less visual noise, less distraction, less weight. But inside, how is it? Because on the outside, you might have a simplified wardrobe, an organized room, a more intentional routine. But on the inside, still carry old resentments, guilt you never questioned, unrealistic expectations about yourself and about others, constant comparisons, thoughts like, "I'm never enough," or "no one does for me what I do for everyone else." That's where Naikan comes in. It's like emotional cleaning, but without the drama. While Japanese minimalism removes the excess of things, Naikan helps you remove the excess distortion in the way you see your life. With time, this practice starts to reduce victimization, lower the constant self-pressure, calm that habit of believing you're always being underestimated. And at the same time, it slows down that tendency to believe you're the only one who tries in everything. You start noticing the care hidden in small details you never saw before. Naikan fits perfectly with Japanese minimalism because both speak about the same thing: seeing what's essential. In your environment, the essential is what truly serves you, supports you, and makes sense. In your mind, the essential is what's true. It's not about filling your head with forced positive thinking. It's about seeing what exists, the good you received, the good you did, and the harm you also caused. That clarity brings a different kind of peace. a peace that's less fragile, less dependent on what's happening outside you, and more tied to how you see your own story. And to make this even more concrete, I need to show you the foundation of Naikan. The 3 questions that underlie it all. These are the questions that change the way you see yourself in your relationships. At first glance, they seem far too simple, but when you really answer honestly, they dismantle many illusions. The first question is, what did I receive from this person or situation? Here you don't focus on what was missing, you focus on what arrived for you. With this first question, you train a different kind of attention. What have I already received that I may never have properly acknowledged? The second question is, what did I give to this person or situation? Here you turn the focus to what you offer. Did you give real attention, or did you only respond out of obligation? We tend to think we're far more generous than we actually are. When you calmly write down what you truly gave, you begin to see that balance with more honesty. The third question is the most uncomfortable. What problems did I cause this person or situation? This is not about blaming others. It's not about what was done to you. It's about what you caused. Delays, rudeness, cold silences, ignored messages, broken promises. Demands you made without noticing their weight. Words that hurt. Indifference. Sometimes the problem you caused wasn't a dramatic event. It was closing off when the other person needed you. It was demanding more than you were willing to give. From these 3 questions, Naikan becomes genuinely practical when you bring them into your everyday life in a simple, doable way. So how do you bring this into your life without making it complicated? No long rituals, nothing impossible to maintain. You can practice Naikan simply, like this. Step 1. Choose a person. It can be someone you have conflict with, someone you love but feel the relationship is strained. It can be your mother, your father, your partner, a friend, a child, a co-worker. Pick a name. Step 2. Set aside a short but real block of time. You don't need hours. Set aside 15 to 20 minutes, a moment when you won't be interrupted constantly. Step 3. Use paper and pen. When you write, things come out more honestly. Take a sheet of paper and write the person's name at the top. Then create 3 sections. What did I receive from this person? What did I offer this person? What problems did I cause this person? And start answering. Don't worry if it's pretty, organized, or if it makes sense to others. It's just you and your conscience. Step 4. Answer with details, not generic phrases. Step 5. Do this regularly. You don't have to do it every day, and it shouldn't become a heavy obligation. You can choose one person per week, or revisit the same person several times if the relationship is very important to you. The important thing is to develop the habit of recognizing what you receive, recognizing what you give, recognizing what you cause. Over time, you'll notice subtle changes. You'll complain less automatically. You'll genuinely thank people more often without forcing it. You'll reduce the unrealistic expectation of being perfect. You'll stop seeing yourself only as a victim or only as guilty. You'll begin to see relationships with greater maturity. You'll start to act differently, apologize with less pride, acknowledge others more easily, and value gestures that once went unnoticed. When you start practicing Naikan seriously, 2 things rise to the surface with force: guilt and resentment. Guilt for what you realize you did or failed to do. Resentment for what was done to you. It's normal. It's almost inevitable. You look at what you received and think, I didn't acknowledge all of this. I didn't value it. You look at what you offered and think, I could have done so much more. You look at the problems you caused and think, I hurt people who loved me. And then that heaviness shows up in your chest. That inner voice begins, I'm terrible. I ruined everything. I don't deserve anything. This is where you need to be careful. Naikan doesn't exist to punish you. It exists to wake you up and move you to a more truthful place, one where you can grow with maturity instead of tearing yourself apart. You are not only the mistakes you've made, You're not only the good things you've done, either. You are someone in process, someone who fails, succeeds, learns, and keeps going. And about resentment, when you honestly look at what you received, it also becomes clear that many people paid attention to you when you felt lost. Many people supported you when you saw no way out. That doesn't erase the pain you lived. It doesn't cancel the wrongs done to you. But it shows that your story isn't made only of abandonment or injustice. There was care in the middle of the chaos. There was love in the middle of what went wrong. Yes, some people hurt you, but others loved you more than you expected. And when you look at all of it, the mistakes you made, the mistakes others made with you, the care you received, the love that came your way, it's almost impossible not to touch something deeper. Naikan calls you inward, but not in just any way. It invites you to acknowledge, to take responsibility, to learn, and to move forward without burying yourself in the past, without drowning in guilt or excessive self-criticism. It's a Japanese introspection practice that goes beyond simple reflection. It's a path of deep self-understanding, but also of quiet, real transformation. Contrary to what many assume, Naikan isn't only about looking at mistakes or what was missing. Above all, it's an exercise in gratitude and responsibility. It asks you, what did I receive from the people around me? What did I offer them? And what kinds of difficulties did I cause? These three questions, simple at first glance, have the power to open inner doors that have often been locked for years. At this point, Naikan is more than introspection. It is also an invitation to trust that you can be transformed, that you are not stuck in an outdated version of yourself, that it's possible to become more aware, more grateful, more responsible, lighter. Not out of obligation, but by choice, out of a desire to live with more truth and more presence. Naikan isn't a trend. It's not a passing technique or a wellness fad. It's a way of shining light inside yourself, a way to illuminate the parts that were forgotten, neglected, or even avoided. And this light doesn't come from the outside. It comes from your own gaze, from your willingness to see with more clarity, more honesty, more compassion. It's a quiet process, but a powerful one. Because when you begin to see everything you received, even during hard moments, something inside you shifts. Gratitude grows, anger dissolves, guilt becomes responsibility. And with that, you begin to walk lighter. Not because you forgot the past, but because you learned from it. Because you understood it's part of your story, but it doesn't have to define your future. Practicing Naikan is, at its core, an act of courage. It's stopping the habit of pointing outward and starting to look inward with sincerity. It's recognizing the impact of your actions, but also the impact of the care you received. It's seeing yourself with more depth, and from that, transforming yourself. In the end, Naikan is an invitation to live with more clarity, to step out of autopilot, to reconnect with what truly matters, and above all, to remember that every change begins with a look that accepts, that learns, that illuminates. Now I want you to do something very simple. If this video touched you in any way, if it brought someone to your mind, if it made you want to straighten not just the outside, but the inside as well, then comment, "I want to be honest with myself and with those who love me." This sentence is for you to declare out loud that you're willing to face the truth, to express more gratitude, to take more responsibility, and to live with less emotional weight. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want me to bring a guided practice so you can do Naikan step by step, leave a comment below as well. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.